I want to go over 5 things that I think are very important to be fit or to get fit after age 50. So if you guys are interested in peptides, you want to know more about peptides, I'll leave a link in the description where you can go check that out. So the first thing, number 1, you gotta get your hormones optimized. Notice I didn't say right. You have to get your hormones optimized. So that's male and female. And male and female, your testosterone can be low. If your testosterone is low, it's going to potentially whack out or mess up all your hormones. So that's an important one. You want to check all your hormones though. Get a panel that checks all of your hormones. Talk to your medical practitioner, or you can even order them on your own, but make sure you're getting all the hormones tested and you want them to be optimized. A lot of times you want to see a clinic that specializes in this, because a lot of times a doctor would say, "Oh, great, you're in the normal range." Notice I said optimized. I don't want to be in the normal range. I want to be optimized. So that's the first thing. Hormones start to diminish and get kind of out of whack as you get older. I'll be 64 in a couple weeks. So, but I think this is definitely really over 40, but we're talking about over 50 right now. And even a lot of people younger than 40, their hormones are messed up, especially testosterone. So you want to check your total testosterone, your free testosterone, your sex hormone binding globule, your estradiol, all that stuff, thyroid. So that's really important, and get it optimized. For me, what is optimized? Well, I want to see it at the top end of the range. So if you're looking at testosterone, I like it when my total testosterone is 1,000. I like it when my free testosterone is at the top of the range or off the top of the range. And that's where I feel like my body does its best. I also check my IGF-1, and that growth hormone is what helps elevate your IGF-1. And there's a number of ways that you can increase your growth hormone, but that's kind of a different video. So that's number 1, get your hormones optimized. Number 2, stop eating or don't eat processed foods. Processed foods and too much alcohol is probably what's causing that little bubble gut. They call it beard belly, or I call it drum belly. It looks like you got a half a basketball in there. Men, especially that are lean, have that hard little gut. I know a person who's lost a lot of weight and he's thin now, but he still has that belly, that drum belly. And that's probably what you're eating. If you want to drink alcohol, look, we're talking about people over 50, over 60, over 70, over 80. Look, if you want to have a glass of wine once in a while, I realize that you got to live also. If you want to have a cheat meal once in a while, that's okay, but you can do a cheat meal without eating processed food. What's processed food? Well, it's stuff that comes in a package, in a box, and things that are processed. Some things are mildly processed, like pasta and bread and things like that. You can have some of that, but you want to really eliminate the ultra processed foods found in the middle of the grocery store aisle. You got to eliminate those. And while you're at it, get rid of the seed oils and the vegetable oils and all that stuff. Use olive oil or a healthy oil to cook in. So it doesn't matter if you're doing carnivore or vegan or keto or the Mediterranean diet. Now, I'm not a fan of a vegan diet or not eating animal products. I am an advocate of eating meat, chicken, fish, turkey, beef. But you can do it eating vegan, but you're probably going to have to get a really good vegan protein powder with, it's a pea powder or something like that, pea protein. But you have to make sure it has all the essential amino acids. The problem with being vegan is getting leucine and the branched chain aminos, especially leucine. Leucine is the trigger for protein synthesis. And when you're a vegan, it's hard. There's not a lot of leucine in vegetables. So that's the problem. Now, how many carbs? You got to figure that out for yourself. I've done carnivore, I've done keto, I've even done vegan, but I know how to do vegan. So you go ahead and I watch my macros. I know how many carbs are good for me. I know how much protein, and we're going to get to that in a second. But I know, and I track all of my macros, and I know how much protein, how much fat, and how many carbs I'm getting a day. Now, if your glucose, I check my glucose every day. If that's starting to creep up, your fasting glucose, and you're over 50, and it's creeping up, and you're noticing that, then you need to cut your carbs. If you're coming in at 70, 75, 78 on your glucose meter every morning when you get up, you're okay. You can probably eat some more carbs. The carbs aren't going to hurt you. But you need to find the right amount of carbohydrates for you. Now, number 3, you've got to eat protein. As people age, they don't synthesize the protein as much, and they don't eat as much. And the worst thing you can do is just eat junk and not eat that much of it. So you got to get your protein up. How much protein? I shoot for, I weigh 175 pounds, but I get about 200 grams of protein a day. And I'm also fairly lean for my age, but I shoot for at least a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I weigh 175. I want to get at least 175 grams of protein. I spread that out in over usually 3 meals. So get the protein up. That's going to make a difference. And a lot of times you think you're eating protein, you think you're eating a lot, but you're not. 1 egg and some peanut butter is not protein. It's not enough. So you need to get your protein up. Go look at packages and look how much protein is in certain things. Protein-dense food like chicken and fish is going to have more. But if you ate 10 eggs, that's only 70 grams of protein. That's not enough. And 10 eggs is a lot of food. So you need to get, eggs are okay. Eggs have very healthy fat, all the healthy fat-soluble vitamins. Eggs are one of the best foods you can eat. But it's not super protein dense. So you need to find foods that are protein dense or get a good, healthy protein powder that you can make into a shake it up in a shaker. I like to put almond milk or coconut milk in it. I shake it up and I do a couple of those a day. That puts me, and I do a pretty good dose. So that puts me at 100 grams right there. Now it's easy for me to get another 75 grams of protein throughout the day with my food. So that's number 3. Number 4, you have to lift weights. As you're aging, you have to lift weights. So eat the protein and lift weights. Do some type of resistance training. Do push-ups. Do body squats. Do dumbbell presses. Wall push-ups. Something. Try to do multiple joint movements. Do it at least twice a week. Go find a gym that's convenient. It's important to, in my opinion, to have a gym that's convenient. When it's convenient, it's easier not to find excuses not to go. Now, I get grief from people saying, what are you doing? You can't do squats. You're old. Don't do deadlifts. You're too old. You're going to hurt yourself. Look, age is not an excuse. And if you're not going to do deadlifts, look, if you're injured or you have a limitation, that's one thing. But don't just reject or not do things like deadlifts because you're old. That's not a reason. It's a very bad excuse. I can't do deadlifts. I'm too old. Look, deadlift your hands. Deadlift 2-pound dumbbells and do a partial motion. Everyone can do it. Don't use age as an excuse. Now, if you lift too heavy and you're doing things like squats and you're doing deadlifts, of course, that's stupid. But that's stupid to use bad technique and lift too heavy. Even when you're younger, you're going to hurt yourself. So don't use age as an excuse for, I can't do deadlifts or I can't do squats, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I can't lift weights. Now, if you have a legitimate, real reason why you can't do a certain lift, that's great. Find an alternative, because you can find an alternative. But resistance training, and that goes with the protein. Lifting weights is number 4. It's a life changer. Get in there and start doing it, and you'd be surprised. You might be 65 or 70. You'd be surprised. You can put lean tissue on. You will start to see it starting to come back. I've seen it over and over and over. If you eat protein and you lift weights. If you don't eat protein and you don't lift weights, that's not going to happen. But they say muscle is the longevity organ. So muscle is critical, and you want more muscle. I'm not going to say as much as possible, because you don't want to be a bodybuilder, but most 60-year-olds, most 50-year-olds aren't going to become bodybuilders just by getting their hormones optimized and lifting weights. Getting your hormones optimized is phenomenal, but it's not magic. If you do nothing, it's not going to do a lot. So, number 4, lift weights. If you guys have questions on this or comments or things, I hear a lot of people telling me, putting in the comment section, what works for them. I love to hear that. And it's usually common sense things. It's lifting weights. It's eating protein. That's what's working for people. So don't use age as an excuse for not lifting weights. Now, I get it. We're kind of older, and I like to sit out in my backyard. I have a nice fire pit and have a cocktail or whatever, but I don't do that every night. I do that probably not even once a month, but once in a while is okay. You have to have a balance in your life, things that you enjoy. So, you put it on your teeter-totter. Your teeter-totter is going to tip according to your good choices and your bad choices, and your pleasures and your things that maybe you don't like so much. So just put it on your teeter-totter and make sure it doesn't go out of whack. All right, number 5. This one's not always so easy. You have to find a way to get good sleep or to improve your sleep. Now, this was surprising to me. My hematocrit and my hemoglobin was high, which happens when you're on TRT, which I'm on TRT. It also happens when you're at a higher elevation, which my home that I live at is about 5,200 feet. So it's about a mile high. It's not, it's kind of up there compared to where a lot of people live. So that will also elevate it. But I wanted to eliminate sleep apnea. I sleep on my side. I sleep really good. I wake up rested. But I just wanted to eliminate that anyway. Even though I wake up rested, I go to bed at 9 o'clock, I sleep 8.5 hours, it feels like it, and I wake up rested. I feel like I've got a good night's sleep. But I got one of those sleep apnea tests, and I took it just to eliminate it. And I had sleep apnea. I was shocked. I didn't even know. I didn't have any symptoms, but I was having about 34 events an hour, every hour. So my breathing was messed up, where I stopped breathing 34 times in every hour that I was sleeping, that I was asleep. And that's every minute. What is that? No, that's every other minute. I'm having a sleep apnea event. So I got a mask. I bought the machine, and I've been doing that now for about a month and a half. And I've always felt good. I eat well. I exercise. I'm a kind of a health and fitness junkie. I'm putting my blood pressure in. I put my blood pressure in my app. All my food goes in my app, every day. And weighing myself every day. My body fat's good. I'm pretty lean, but that surprised me. But I will say, I'm starting to feel a little better, even more energy. And one thing I've noticed is I used to like to take a nap in the afternoons, about 2 or 3. I'd take maybe a 30-minute nap. And I love that. I love taking a nap at 2:30 or 3. But now, since I've been on this CPAP machine, And it's not invasive. It's just a plastic thing that goes around, and it's easy to use. But now it's getting kind of hard to take those naps in the afternoon. I'm not feeling that kind of sleepiness or that tiredness that I felt before I was using this CPAP machine. So that's what I did. It shocked me that I was having these events. I had no symptoms, but that's what the test showed. And now I'm using the machine and it feels like things are improving even more. So I just bring that up just as a personal example, but you need to make sure your sleep is quality. That's number 5, your sleep quality. If you do those 5 things, it doesn't matter what age you are, especially over 50, 60, 70, 80, you're going to see positive results in your life. So if you guys have questions, comments, I love hearing your stories about what you're doing, what's working for you. Put them in the comment section, and I will see you next time.